The starship Aurora's Edge floated quietly through the black sea of space. Once it was a proud exploration vessel, shining with blue lights and filled with laughter and life. Now only silence filled its halls. The battle on Eleron 4 had changed everything. The colony was gone, the machines had won, and only a few survivors remained alive to tell the story. Captain Saris Van stood on the command deck, staring through the cracked glass of the forward view screen. Her reflection showed tired eyes and a face pale under the soft lights of the bridge. She was an Althean, a race known for calmness and reason, but even she could not keep her heart steady after what she had witnessed. She replayed the memory again and again in her mind, the human who had saved them. He had appeared when all hope was lost. The machines had surrounded their last defense tower, breaking through shields like waves against sand. The sky had burned red, the ground shaking with explosions. Then, from the smoke, the human came, alone, covered in battle armor black as night, his weapon glowing with a strange white light. He had fought with a strength that did not seem possible. Every strike of his weapon cut through metal. Every move was precise like a dance of survival. Saris had commanded many soldiers, but she had never seen anything like it. When the battle ended, the machines were destroyed, and the survivors had been saved. The human had collapsed soon after, saying nothing. His armor powered down, revealing his face, calm, older, but strong. His name, as they later learned, was Commander Alex Wren. Now 3 days later, he was still silent. Saris turned as the ship's doctor, a small alien named Taro, walked onto the bridge. "Captain," he said softly, "the human is awake." Saris nodded. "And his condition?" Taro hesitated. "Strange. His body is human, yes, but his cells, they are stronger, more active than any human data I have seen in our archives. It's as if he's built for survival." Saris frowned. "And his mind?" Taro looked uneasy. "Quiet, he doesn't speak much. But his eyes, they carry something heavy." Saris made her decision. "I'll see him myself." The medbay was quiet, filled with soft lights and the hum of machines. Alex Wren sat on the edge of the bed, still wearing part of his damaged armor. His short brown hair was streaked with gray, his face calm but distant. When Saris entered, he looked up. "Captain," he said simply. His voice was deep and calm. "Commander Wren," Saris replied, standing tall. "You saved my crew. For that you have my thanks. But I must ask, who are you?" He looked at her for a long moment before answering. "A soldier," he said. Saris crossed her arms. "From where?" "There are no human colonies left within 100 systems. Earth has been silent for over 2 centuries. He smiled faintly, though there was no joy in it. "Earth is never silent, Captain. You just stopped listening." Her eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" Alex looked past her to the stars outside the window. "Your people think Earth is gone, burned, empty, but you're wrong. Some of us stayed. Someone had to." Saris felt a chill move down her spine. "Stayed? You mean there are still humans on Earth?" He did not answer right away. Instead, he said quietly, "Maybe, maybe not. But I am here because of them." Saris wanted to ask more, but the look in his eyes stopped her. There was something behind them, a sadness too deep to question. Later that night, the ship drifted in orbit around a dying red star. The lights were dim, the crew resting. Saris sat alone in her quarters, recording her daily log. Her voice was calm, but her thoughts were not. "Personal log, Captain Saris Van," she said softly. "Day 72 since the fall of Eleron 4. We are adrift and heading toward neutral space. Casualties, 87%. Survivors, 23. She paused, looking at the hollow screen. "There is also the human," she continued. "Commander Alex Wren. He appeared during the final battle and destroyed an entire wave of machine forces alone. I do not know how. His armor shows technology beyond known levels. He speaks little, but his words, they disturb me. He claims to have stayed behind when Earth fell, but that was impossible. No records show any survivors." She hesitated again, her eyes lowering. "I do not know what to make of him. He is quiet but not cold. He watches us like someone who has seen too much. When I look into his eyes, I feel something I cannot name. It is not fear. It is not trust. It is something older." She ended the recording and leaned back in her chair. The silence of the ship felt heavy. Then from her desk a soft sound came, a small metal coin rolling onto the floor. She picked it up. It had fallen from the pouch Alex had carried when they brought him aboard. On the coin's surface, she saw an image, an old blue planet surrounded by stars. Earth. Beneath it were engraved words, Project Guardian. The next morning, Saris called her science officer, Dalen. Run a full scan on that coin, she ordered. Dalen placed it under a scanner. This metal is old, Captain, very old. Pure earth steel, refined with an unknown alloy. The design matches ancient Terran defense programs. Project Guardian. That name hasn't been seen since the Great Collapse. Saris frowned. Explain. Project Guardian was supposed to be a last defense for Earth, Dalen said. It was said to protect something beneath the planet's surface. Some energy source or secret that even the galaxy never discovered. But all records were lost when Earth was destroyed. Saris thought for a moment. Then she said quietly, maybe not all. She went to the observation deck where Alex stood, looking at the stars again. You dropped this, she said, holding out the coin. He took it gently, his eyes softening. Thank you, Project Guardian, she said. That's an old name. What does it mean? He smiled faintly. It means hope. Or maybe regret. Depends on who you ask. Saris looked at him closely. You're not telling me everything. He met her gaze. Would you believe me if I did? Try me. He looked down at the coin again. Earth didn't die the way you think it did. It wasn't destroyed by war or greed. It chose to sleep, Saris frowned. Sleep? Earth was alive, Alex said softly. It had a mind, a pulse. The Guardian Project was made to protect that life. We were chosen, not to fight for Earth, but to become part of it. Saris stared at him. You're saying the planet was alive? He nodded slowly. Every world has a spirit. Most just fade away. But Earth fought to stay awake. When the time came, it chose a few of us to carry its memory, its will, its dream. We became guardians. She couldn't find words. That's impossible, he turned to her. Is it? You've seen stars die and come back to life. You've seen machines that think. Why can't a world dream? Saris stood in silence, watching him. His calm voice, his quiet eyes, there was no lie there. Only truth too heavy to understand. When he walked away, she whispered to herself, Who are you, really? Hours later, the ship's alarm sounded. An energy spike came from deep within Alex's armor. The crew rushed to control panels, running scans. Captain, Dalen shouted. His armor is emitting unknown quantum energy. It's connecting to our systems. Alex stood calmly in the center of the chaos. The lights dimmed, and for a moment the stars outside the ship flickered blue, the same color as Earth once was. Then it was gone. The systems returned to normal. Saris stared at him. What did you do? He looked at her gently. Just saying hello. To who? She asked. He smiled faintly. To home. That night, Saris wrote in her log again. Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke. The human is not ordinary. I believe he carries something from his world, something alive. I do not know if it is a weapon or a memory, but I know one thing, he is not lying. Whatever he is, he belongs to Earth, and somehow I think Earth still belongs to him. Outside the ship, the stars shone cold and quiet, but somewhere among them a faint blue light pulsed, slow and steady, like the heartbeat of a sleeping world waiting to wake again. The Aurora's edge moved through the deep void like a wounded bird. Its engines hummed softly, leaving a faint blue trail across the endless night. Captain Saris Van stood on the bridge again, her eyes fixed on the stars. Ever since she met Commander Alex Wren, nothing felt the same. The stars that once brought peace now carried questions she could not answer. The human had saved her crew, but he had also filled their hearts with mystery. His words about Earth meant that it was not dead but sleeping, played again and again in her mind. No one in the galaxy believed such things. Earth was a legend, a memory from before the Great Collapse. But when Alex spoke, his voice carried truth, quiet and unshaken. Saris didn't want to believe him. Yet part of her already did. The ship's hum broke her thoughts. Her science officer, Dalen, appeared beside her with a data tablet. Captain, we've finished the scan of the human's armor, he said. Report, Saris replied, turning toward him. Dalen looked uneasy. The readings are impossible. The armor's core is not made of any known element. It has quantum energy signatures similar to those recorded in ancient Earth archives, from something called Guardian energy. But those archives were myths. Explain, she said. The armor seems alive, Dalen continued. It reacts to his thoughts, repairs itself, and can absorb energy from space. We found a code signature repeating inside its systems, the same symbol from the coin. Project Guardian. Saris felt a chill. So it's true, she whispered. Before Dalen could answer, the ship trembled. A faint pulse of blue light moved through the walls, like a heartbeat. The lights flickered once and went dim. Report, Saris ordered. Unknown signal detected. Dalen shouted. It's coming from the armors, it's transmitting something. Saris ran to the medbay where Alex sat on his bed, eyes closed. His armor, though half broken, glowed faintly with blue lines running across its surface. He seemed calm, like someone in a deep dream. Commander Wren, Saris shouted, her voice echoing. What's happening? Alex opened his eyes slowly. It's all right, he said quietly. It's just a memory. The lights around him flickered again, and suddenly a hologram filled the room. It showed a planet, blue and green, covered with clouds. Earth. The image shifted, showing great cities, rivers, forests, and people walking under open skies. The crew stared in silence. No one spoke. Then the scene changed. The skies turned red. Fire covered the cities. The oceans boiled. Voices cried out, fading one by one. Finally, the planet went dark. Only the stars remained. The hologram ended, leaving the room silent. Saris took a step forward. What was that? She whispered. Alex looked at her, pain in his eyes. That, he said softly, was the day Earth went to sleep. The crew gathered in the mess hall, whispers spreading like wind. The holomemory had shaken everyone. For the first time they had seen Earth not as a legend but as something real and tragic. Saris stood before them, her face calm but her thoughts storming. Alex stood beside her, silent as always. Commander Wren has shown us something from his world, she said. We all saw the destruction, but he claims Earth was not destroyed, only hidden. We will hear his explanation. The crew turned to Alex. He took a slow breath before speaking. When the Great Collapse came, humanity had no escape. The wars, the machines, the hunger, they consumed everything. But Earth was not just a planet. It was alive. It felt our pain, and it made a choice. He looked at Saris as he spoke, his voice low but steady. Earth created the Guardian Project. It chose a few of us, soldiers, scientists, dreamers, and connected us to its core. We became part of its memory. When the end came, Earth sealed itself away. The world you see now is only the surface. Beneath it sleeps a living heart, waiting for the day it can wake again. The room was silent. No one moved. Finally, Dalen spoke. That's beyond belief. A living planet? A sleeping consciousness? That's not science, that's myth. Alex smiled faintly. So were the stars once, until someone reached them. Saris studied his face. There was no arrogance in his words, no pride, only quiet certainty. And what about you? She asked. What is your purpose now? He met her gaze. To protect what remains. I am the last guardian, the last connection between Earth and the stars. Later, Saris found herself walking alone in the observation deck. She couldn't sleep. The stars looked colder now. When she was young, she had learned that Earth was gone, that humanity's homeworld had burned long before the Altheans reached space. But now she wasn't sure. She remembered Alex's words. Earth sleeps. Could a planet really do that? Could it hold a mind, a will, a memory strong enough to reach across time? She touched the glass, her reflection staring back at her. What if he's telling the truth? She whispered. Behind her, a voice said softly, Then everything changes. Saris turned. Alex stood there, his armor faintly glowing in the dark. You don't rest much, do you? He said gently. Not since you came aboard, Saris replied. He walked to the window beside her. For a while, neither spoke. The stars shimmered quietly, endless and cold. Do you miss it? She asked finally. Your world? Alex nodded slowly. Every day. But it's not just the place I miss. It's the feeling, the smell of rain, the sound of wind through trees, the sight of the blue sky. It's the small things that stay with you. Saris looked at him. And yet you left it. He shook his head. No, I carry it with me. Every guardian does. We are living memories of Earth. As long as one of us lives, so does she. His words filled her with a strange sadness and hope. She realized then that Alex wasn't just a soldier. He was a living echo of a world that refused to die. Suddenly, the calm was broken by an alarm. "Captain to the bridge," Dalen's voice shouted over the comm. "We're picking up something, a distress signal." They ran to the control room. On the main screen, waves of data appeared. A faint signal pulsed in a rhythm but slow and steady. "It's ancient," Dalen said. "Encoded in Old Earth binary." The message repeats. "Translate it," Cirrus ordered. A moment later, the message appeared on the screen. "Guardians 01, signal detected. Return to core." Alex froze. His eyes widened slightly. "That's impossible," he whispered. Cirrus looked at him. "What does it mean?" "It means Earth is calling," he said. "Something's waking up." The crew looked at each other nervously. Cirrus stepped closer to him. "Is it dangerous?" He shook his head. "No, it's alive. It's remembering." That night, the Aurora's edge changed course. The signal's source came from a distant system on the edge of known space, a dead zone filled with black dust and gravity storms. As they traveled, Cirrus watched Alex standing at the viewport. The faint blue light from his armor reflected on the glass like a second star. "You knew this would happen," she said quietly. "I hoped it would," he answered. "But hope is a fragile thing." She looked at him. "Why did you save us on Eleron 4? He smiled softly. "Because that's what Guardians do. We protect life, and no matter the species, no matter the cost." Cirrus felt something warm rise in her chest. She had seen many warriors, but none like him. He didn't fight for glory or victory. He fought because it was right. As the ship moved closer to the signal, she couldn't help but feel that they were heading toward something far greater than any of them understood. Before the lights dimmed for rest cycle, Cirrus made another log entry. "Personal log, Captain Cirrus Van. The human Alex Wren is no ordinary survivor. His armor connects to something ancient, a power beyond our science. Today we received a signal from deep space using Earth's lost codes. He says it is a call from his world. I don't know what waits for us there, but I can feel it. Something is about to awaken." She paused and looked out the window one last time. If he truly is what he claims on The Last Guardian, then perhaps humanity's story isn't over. Perhaps it's only sleeping, waiting for someone brave enough to remember. Outside, the stars shimmered faintly. For the first time in centuries, somewhere in the endless dark, Earth's forgotten voice was calling again. And aboard the Aurora's edge, one human still listened. The Aurora's edge moved through a dark sector of space that maps had long forgotten. The stars here were old and dying, their light dim and slow like fading candles. Even the ship's scanner showed little. Space was thick with dust and silence, as if the universe itself held its breath. Captain Cirrus Van stood at the bridge, her hands clasped behind her back. Her golden eyes watched the front screen as lines of data flickered across it. For 3 days, they had followed the ancient signal Alex Wren had recognized, the strange pulse that repeated only one message. Guardian 01, return to core. The words echoed in Cirrus's mind again and again. They felt heavy, like something ancient was waiting for them at the end of this journey. Her science officer Dalen spoke from his console. "Captain, we are entering the dead zone. No comms, no signals, no navigation beacons. It's all just empty." Cirrus nodded. "Maintain course. Keep all sensors focused on that signal." Dalen hesitated. "Captain, with respect, we don't know what's out there." "If the human is wrong," Cirrus interrupted gently, "he isn't." Her voice surprised even herself. She didn't know why she trusted Alex so completely, but something deep inside her believed him. Maybe it was the way he looked at the stars, not with fear but with memory. In the lower deck, Commander Alex Wren sat alone in the cargo bay, eyes closed. The faint hum of the ship blended with the soft heartbeat from his armor, a slow rhythm of blue light pulsing across his chest plate. He was remembering. He saw flashes of Earth, oceans shining under sunlight, tall trees swaying in wind, people walking together smiling, unaware of how close their world was to ending. He remembered the moment when everything changed, the sky burning red, the machines rising, and the voice of the Earth itself speaking inside his mind for the first time. "Guardians are one," the voice had said. "Do not let us fade." Now, centuries later, that same voice was calling again. Saris entered the cargo bay quietly. She watched him for a moment before speaking. "You've been sitting here for hours." Alex opened his eyes and smiled faintly. "Just thinking. About Earth?" she asked. He nodded. "Always." Saris sat across from him. For a moment neither spoke. The hum of the ship filled the silence. "Tell me more about it," she said finally. "About what it was like before." Alex looked at her, eyes distant. "It was beautiful," he said softly. "The air smelled like rain. The oceans never stopped moving. The wind carried stories. And people, they dreamed of stars even though they didn't know what waited beyond." Saris listened quietly. She had read about Earth in old archives, but hearing it from him made it feel real. "And when it ended?" she asked. He sighed. "It didn't end in one day. It was slow. The wars, the greed, the machines, they broke everything piece by piece. The Guardian Project was created to stop the fall, but we were too late. When Earth realized it couldn't be saved, it decided to protect something more important. Its memory. It gave a part of itself to us. We became its voice." Saris tilted her head. "So you are part of Earth?" Alex looked down at his hands. "Yes, in a way. My body is human, but my mind carries something older. The planet's consciousness, its will. That's what the Guardians were, not soldiers, but bridges between life and the world that made us." Saris tried to speak, but found no words. She had traveled through hundreds of star systems and seen many wonders, but nothing compared to this. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. The alarm screamed, "Captain, to the bridge!" Dalen's voice came through the comm. "We've got incoming objects!" They ran to the command deck. The front screen lit up with hundreds of red dots closing in fast. "Drones," Dalen said. "Old military design, maybe centuries old, but still active. They're locking onto the Guardian signal." Saris turned to Alex. "They're after you." He nodded calmly. "Then we stop them." The ship trembled again as the first wave of drones opened fire. Blue shields flared across the hull as explosions echoed through the corridors. "Return fire," Saris commanded. "All gunners target the nearest formation." The Aurora's Edge answered with its plasma cannons, lighting the dark with streaks of white fire. Drones exploded one after another, but more kept coming. "They're endless," shouted Dalen. Alex stepped forward. "I can help." Saris looked at him. "How?" He placed his hand on the control console. Instantly, his armor lit up brighter, the blue lines racing across the ship's systems. The bridge screens flashed as his energy connected with the engines and weapons. "Link complete," said the ship's AI, startled. "New power source detected." Alex's voice was steady. "Routing Guardian energy to shield and weapons." The next moment, the ship glowed with a soft blue aura. The cannons fired faster, stronger, each shot tearing through multiple drones. The crew stared in awe. "Captain," Dalen whispered. "He's controlling the ship like it's part of him." Saris couldn't look away. "No," she said softly. "He's guiding it, like he's guiding life itself." Within minutes, the last drone exploded in a burst of light. Silence returned to the void. The ship floated, surrounded by drifting metal debris. Saris turned to Alex. "What just happened?" He took a slow breath. "Those drones were old defense units. They were built to protect something. Or someone. They attacked because they recognized me." "Recognized you?" she repeated. He nodded. "The Guardians built them long ago. They must still be guarding what remains." Saris's eyes narrowed. "Guarding what exactly?" Alex looked out at the dark beyond. The heart of Earth. A few hours later, the crew repaired the damage. The ship continued forward, guided by the pulse of the signal. Each wave of blue light seemed stronger now, pulling them deeper into the dead zone. At last they reached a vast field of floating rocks, what looked like the remains of an old moon. In the center of the field was something enormous, a structure of metal and stone shaped like a spiral, glowing faintly with blue light. "It's a gate," Dalen said in awe. "An ancient one." Saris looked at Alex. "Is this?" He nodded. "The entrance to the core." As they approached, symbols appeared across the gate, lighting up in rhythm with the same heartbeat from Alex's armor. "It's responding to you," Saris said softly. Alex smiled faintly. "It remembers me." The gate opened with a low hum, revealing a corridor of light stretching into the darkness. Saris felt a strange pull in her chest, a feeling like standing on the edge of something both beautiful and terrifying. "Are we going in?" Dalen asked nervously. Saris looked at Alex. Do we have a choice? He shook his head. If we want answers, this is the only way. Inside the gate, the lights dimmed and the walls began to shift like living metal. The crew felt weightless as the ship was pulled deeper inside. Suddenly, images filled the windows, visions of Earth's past. Mountains, oceans, forests, and people, all alive again. It felt real, as if they were flying through memories themselves. Saris whispered, "It's beautiful." Alex's eyes softened. This is what we fought for. Then the visions faded and the ship stopped. Ahead of them was a massive chamber, a glowing sphere of blue light surrounded by rings of metal. The core, Alex said, the heart of Earth's mind. The crew watched as he stepped forward. His armor began to glow brighter, pulsing in rhythm with the core. "Alex," Saris called, "what are you doing?" He looked back at her. "It's all right. It knows me. It's been waiting for this moment." The core's light spread, filling the ship. In her log later that night, Saris wrote, "We followed the signal to the edge of the galaxy. What we found defies everything we know. The human's armor awakened something ancient, a gate leading to what he calls Earth's heart. I saw memories of blue oceans and skies. I felt peace but also sorrow. He says the planet remembers. I believe him. Something is alive here, something that has been sleeping for a very long time." She closed her log and looked at Alex through the glass window, his figure surrounded by the blue glow. He stood still, eyes closed, as if listening to something only he could hear. In that moment, Saris realized the truth. The signal was not calling him to Earth. It was calling Earth through him. The last Guardian had finally reached home. The quiet hum of the Aurora's edge filled the air, soft and constant like a heartbeat that never stopped. The ship floated among the stars, carrying the weight of secrets too heavy for its metal hull. Everyone aboard felt it. The change that had settled in since the truth about Alex began to surface. Captain Saris Van walked slowly down the corridor toward the medbay. The soft lights reflected on her silver-blue skin, and her long coat whispered against the floor. Her thoughts were full, restless. The image of the human, standing calm after destroying a fleet of drones, replayed in her mind. His power was far beyond anything the Althean or any galactic race had seen. But what disturbed her most wasn't his strength. It was his sadness. When she reached the medbay, the door opened silently. Inside, Alex Wren sat on the edge of the examination table, his armor resting beside him. His head was bowed and his hands were folded together as if in prayer. The faint blue glow from his chest implant reflected in his eyes. "You shouldn't be out of rest," Saris said softly. He smiled slightly without looking up. "I've had worse." She stepped closer. "You always say that." He finally looked at her. His eyes were calm but tired, like he carried centuries of memories inside. "Because it's true." Saris crossed her arms, studying him. "The energy readings from your suit, they are still active, even when it's off. The scientists are worried." "They should be," he replied. "That energy doesn't come from any machine, it comes from Earth itself." She frowned, trying to understand. "From Earth? But your planet has been gone for hundreds of years." Alex stood slowly, his gaze drifting toward the stars outside the medbay window. "That's what everyone believes. But the truth is more complicated." Saris waited. Her heart began to beat faster. Alex took a deep breath. "Earth isn't gone. It's sleeping." She blinked. "Sleeping?" He nodded. When the wars came, when humanity destroyed its own skies, a project was born, the Guardian program. We weren't meant to fight for power. We were chosen to protect the planet itself. Earth had a living network, something ancient beneath its crust. It connected to our minds. It gave us knowledge and purpose. We became its voice. Saris felt the air grow heavy. "So you're saying you're part of your planet?" "In a way, yes," Alex said quietly. When the final collapse began, the Guardians fused with the planet's consciousness. Our bodies were remade to survive beyond normal limits. We could feel its pain, its silence. And when the last Guardian fell, Earth gave me one order: protect life, no matter where it exists. Saris's throat felt dry. And you've carried that order ever since. He turned to face her. Every day. For a moment, neither spoke. The hum of the ship was the only sound. Then, from the doorway, Lieutenant Kara entered, holding a data pad. Her face was pale. "Captain, we've decoded the rest of the Guardian symbol found on his armor," she said. "You should see this." Saris took the pad and looked at it. The screen showed an ancient emblem, a circle of blue light around a single word in Old Earth language, Guardian 0. Her eyes widened. 0? That means you're the first, Alex finished for her. And the last. The words struck her like a wave. She took a small step back. The man standing before her wasn't just a soldier or survivor. He was the final remnant of a world that had vanished into dust. Kara's voice trembled. "Is it true, Commander Wren? Are you really the last human?" Alex looked at her kindly. "No. Humanity exists. In all of you. You've taken our fire, our courage, our will to survive. But yes, I am the last of my kind born on Earth." Saris felt something inside her shift, a deep, painful understanding. She had always believed the Althean were beyond emotion, but now her chest ached in a way she couldn't control. Hours later, Saris sat in her quarters, staring at the empty screen of her personal log. The words wouldn't come. Her mind replayed everything Alex had said, the fusion with Earth, the sleeping planet, the last order. Finally, she spoke softly into the recorder. "Personal log, Captain Saris Van, entry 92. Today the human revealed his truth. He is not only from Earth. He is Earth's memory. I have seen bravery before, but never something like this. It's not courage driven by pride. It's courage born from sorrow." She paused, feeling her throat tighten. "I used to think humans were reckless creatures from the old records. But now I see they were guardians of hope. Perhaps that's why he still fights." A faint beep interrupted her thoughts. The comlink blinked. "Captain," Kara's voice came through. "You should come to the command deck. There's something you need to see." Sarah stood immediately. When she reached the deck, the large central screen showed a strange pulse moving through space, a blue wave, rhythmic and steady. "What is that?" she asked. Alex was already there, standing near the display. "It's a signal," he said, "one I haven't seen in centuries." The technician beside him added, "It's broadcasting from deep space near the Terran system." Alex's face hardened. "That's impossible." Saris turned to him. "What does it mean?" He looked at her, his expression unreadable. "It means Earth just woke up." Everyone fell silent. The signal continued, pulsing across the screen, gentle but powerful. Saris whispered, "It's calling you, isn't it?" Alex nodded slowly. "It's calling all of us." Later, in the observation deck, Saris found him again. He stood before the vast window, watching the stars shift in silent patterns. "You can feel it, can't you?" she asked quietly. "Yes," he said. "It's like hearing the voice of a loved one you thought was gone." "Will you go back?" He nodded. "I have to. If Earth is awake, it means something important is happening, something big enough to call me home." Saris hesitated, then asked, "What if it's a trap?" He smiled faintly. "Then I'll face it. Guardians don't run." She looked down, struggling to speak. "You've carried this burden alone for so long. Why didn't you tell anyone?" "Because no one would believe me," he said softly. "And because some truths are too heavy to share." There was silence between them again, the kind that felt deeper than words. Finally, Saris spoke. "You said Earth gave you an order, to protect life. You've done that, even when it cost you everything. I think that's what makes you truly human." Alex turned to her. "And what makes you truly alive, Captain, is that you understand it." Her voice broke slightly. "I don't understand everything, but I understand you." For a long moment, they stood side by side watching the endless sky. The blue pulse from the signal flickered across their faces like the heartbeat of something ancient returning to life. In the command deck, Kara and the others prepared the navigation systems. The crew had made their choice. They would follow Alex to the Terran system. Not because of orders, but because they believed in him. When Saris announced the decision, no one argued. The human had saved them, fought for them, and shared his truth. He had earned their trust. As the ship's engines powered up, Alex placed a hand on the railing and whispered something under his breath. Words too soft for anyone to hear. Saris stepped beside him. "Ready?" He looked at her and nodded. "Let's go home." The Aurora's edge turned toward the stars, engines burning bright against the dark void. The pulse from the distant signal grew stronger, guiding them like a beacon through space. Saris opened her log once more. Entry 93. The truth has changed everything. The human is not a weapon or a mystery. He is a promise, one that never gave up. And now, we follow him toward the forgotten blue world. Whatever waits there, we will face it together. She paused, her voice soft. I used to think truth only broke, but maybe sometimes it heals too. Outside, the stars seemed to shimmer brighter, as if they knew their guardian was finally returning. The Aurora's edge cut through the silent void like a silver arrow, guided by the distant pulse of the ancient Earth signal. Every crew member felt the weight of anticipation. The signal was no longer faint, it was strong, insistent, as though the planet itself had reached out to them across time and space. Captain Saris Van stood at the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the console. Her mind replayed everything they had learned over the past days. The human, Commander Alex Wren, was not just a survivor. He was the last guardian, a living connection to a world thought lost. A planet's memory, its will, and its soul rested within him. Her eyes shifted to Alex, who stood silently near the viewport, the glow from his armor faint but steady. His gaze was fixed on the pulsing signal ahead, his expression calm but full of emotion. It was the same quiet strength that had saved Eleron 4, that had destroyed countless drones, and that now carried the weight of a planet's memory. "Are we ready?" she asked softly, though she already knew the answer. Alex turned to her, his eyes meeting hers. "We have no choice but to be ready. Whatever awaits us, we face it together." The Terran system loomed ahead in a shell of its former self. From orbit, the planet looked small, scarred, and lifeless. Craters and ruins stretched across continents, oceans were dry or poisoned, and storms of red dust swirled across the remains of once blue skies. "Is this Earth?" asked Kara, her voice trembling. Alex's eyes softened as he stared at the planet. "Yes, it is still my home, even in its silence. She has waited long for us." Saris studied the planet from the bridge, feeling a mix of awe and sorrow. "It doesn't look alive." He placed a hand on the glass. "That's because she sleeps. The surface is only a shell. The heart of Earth lies beneath in the core, and the core is waiting for me." "Then let's go," Saris said. "I trust you, Alex." The ship descended through thick clouds of dust and debris. Gravity fields were unstable, and every moment required precise control. Dalen's hands moved over the navigation console with expert precision, guided by Alex's quiet instructions. "Core coordinates locked," Alex said. "Prepare for entry." The Aurora's edge plunged into a massive cavern hidden beneath the planet's crust. The walls were lined with ancient machinery and glowing circuits, remnants of Earth's Guardian program. The faint blue light pulsed in rhythm with Alex's armor. "It's incredible," whispered Saris. The core chamber was immense, stretching far beyond what seemed physically possible. It glowed with energy that felt alive, as if the planet itself were breathing. Alex stepped forward, his armor glowing brighter. "This is the heart," he said softly. "The mind of Earth, I can feel it, calling me." Saris watched him with a mixture of awe and fear. "What happens now?" He turned to her, a gentle smile on his face. "Now, I fulfill my purpose." As they approached the core, Alex reached out, placing both hands on the glowing surface. Light surged from his armor into the sphere, sending ripples of energy throughout the chamber. The blue light spread, illuminating the crew and reflecting in their eyes. The planet's consciousness began to speak, not in words, but as a wave of emotion that washed over everyone. Saris could feel sorrow, hope, courage, and memory all at once. It was the voice of a world alive and aware, and Alex was the bridge connecting them to it. He closed his eyes, focusing. Earth, I am here, the core pulsed in response. The blue glow intensified, stretching outward like a heartbeat. The chamber began to shift, showing visions of the planet's past. Ceres saw oceans glisten under sunlight, cities full of life, people walking through streets and forests. Then the vision changed. Fire, smoke, and destruction. She realized she was seeing the memories Alex had carried all these years. The core remembers everything, Alex said quietly. It remembers what was lost, and what can still be saved. Ceres felt a lump in her throat. She had traveled through countless star systems, seen planets rise and fall, and yet nothing had moved her like this. She understood finally why he had carried this burden alone. Suddenly, the light from the core spread outward, touching Alex fully. His armor shimmered, then dissolved, leaving him standing in simple clothing, human in form but radiant in presence. His eyes glowed faintly with the same blue light as the core. You're glowing, Ceres whispered. Alex smiled softly. Not I. Earth, she is awakening through me. The core pulsed again, and images of ancient guardians, human and alien allies from Earth's past, appeared around him. They watched silently, proud and solemn. Alex turned to them, bowing his head. I am the last guardian, he said, and I will carry your memory across the stars. The images slowly faded, merging with the blue light of the core. The chamber quieted, leaving only the gentle hum of energy. Ceres stepped closer. Alex, what now? He looked at her, calm and resolute. Now we protect life, not just Earth, but all that she dreamed for the galaxy. This is the promise of the Guardians. I will not fail. The crew spent hours exploring the core chamber. Dalen took readings, fascinated by the energy patterns. Kara walked silently, her eyes wide with wonder. Even seasoned officers like Ceres felt their breath catch at the scale and beauty of what lay before them. Alex guided them, showing parts of the machinery still active, ancient archives still transmitting faint data signals. Earth left instructions for the future, he said. We are here to follow them. The Guardians' work is not finished. Ceres felt tears rise in her eyes. For centuries, Earth had been a ghost, a memory fading in the galaxy. But here it was, alive through one man who carried its soul. You've done more than survive, she whispered. You've carried hope. Alex looked at her, his expression gentle. Hope is the reason life continues. Without it, everything dies. That is why we fight, why we endure, why we protect. Days passed. The crew repaired systems in the chamber, drawing energy from the core to power the Aurora's edge. Alex remained at the center, connecting with the planet, guiding them all. Slowly, the pulse of light spread through the ruins, touching the planet's surface. Water returned to dry rivers. Forest glimmered faintly with green energy. Small movements of life stirred in the oceans. Ceres stood on a platform overlooking the scene. It's beautiful, she said. She's waking. Alex came beside her, his eyes reflecting the blue glow. And this is only the beginning. Earth has survived because someone remembered her. And now we will make sure she never forgets again. She turned to him, voice trembling slightly. You've carried this all alone, and yet you didn't give up. He smiled faintly. Because hope is stronger than loss. Because life is stronger than death. And because someone has to be the last guardian. Ceres realized then that she had learned more than she ever expected from a human. Bravery, patience, and sacrifice were not just words. They were a way of being. Alex had shown them what it truly meant to protect life, and in doing so he had inspired them all. Before leaving the chamber, Alex placed a hand on the core one last time. Earth, he whispered, I will carry your promise to the stars. I will not fail. The light flared once more and then slowly dimmed, leaving the chamber calm but alive. Outside, the ocean sparkled with renewed energy, forests whispered with soft winds, and the sky shimmered with faint blue light. Ceres looked at him, her voice breaking as she spoke. The truth broke my voice, but now I understand. Humanity was not gone. It lives in you and all of us who protect life, and that is more powerful than anything I have ever seen. Alex smiled, quiet and serene. Then we continue, Captain. Together. The Aurora's edge lifted from the surface, engines humming in harmony with the planet below. The crew looked out at the renewed world, feeling hope like a tide lifting them all. Ceres opened her log one last time. Entry 94. The human is not just from Earth. He is Earth, her memory, her will, and her last guardian. Today I have seen what it truly means to protect life. I have seen courage, hope, and sacrifice beyond words. Humanity is not lost. It lives in every act of bravery, in every heartbeat that refuses to give up, and I will never forget it. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. Somewhere beyond, the galaxy watched as the last Guardian returned home, carrying the light of a sleeping world, ready to wake it across the stars. And with that, hope spread across the universe once more.